Increasingly, Brics nations are seen as the primary drivers of future growth and employment globally. China has been the traditional spearhead of this development and has identified Africa as a land of considerable opportunity. Joining us in studio to take a look at China's potential investment, firstly in South Africa and then Africa's mining sector, Li Zhenhuan, chairman of the Tian's Group. And of course, we're also joined by Kevin Hao, who is going to be a translator for us today. Thank you both so much for joining us today. Of course, Kevin, you're going to be translating for us. And Chairman Li, thank you so much for joining us. Kevin, my first question is from a Chinese company perspective right now, and the Chinese perspective, what is the perception of South Africa specifically as an investment destination?
李总，第一个问题就是说，从我们作为一个中国公司来讲，那作为南非来说，您怎么看南非未来的这种投资的机会和感觉？
因为全球的经济啊，现在都往下滑，全球的金融危机在这方面，尤其是欧洲经济可以说相对更不好。在全球的经济发展是发展中国家的金砖五国。 在这方面呢，南非在非洲呢，南非是金砖五国的未来的发展经济是绝对大有发展的前途。
Currently, I can tell you on the global basis, the economic crisis happening in all the countries, and the whole situation is sloping down. But as one of the BRICS countries, I still think South Africa's economy has a great potential.
Of course, the Tian's Group is, a multinational group. You have operations in 190 countries right now, and South Africa is the next country where you're wanting to invest. Great visions for South Africa. In fact, unveiling the South Africa vision today. What does that entail?
因为天狮呢是一个国际化发展的公司，是一个国际化的公司，业务发展到全球190多个国家。那么具体来说，对于南非来说，您有怎样的一个投资的一个计划？
我们在整个的南非来讲啊，集团在南非来讲，在这方面的投资计划，第一个，我们这次来，可以说做详细的调研，因为前期做调研，大量的调研，掌握一些相关的数据。第一个，我们想进入矿业开采和开发，金矿、铜矿，这是一方面。第二一个方面呢，就是我们在全球发达国家在正向发展、反向吸引的，我们提速增量，在这方面从发达国家从电子商务，在这方面在发展中国家的完全是一个非洲的一个典型的代表。非洲看南非。 我们也要加大力度，在明年，在南非，投资建这个电子商务。
Actually, South Africa can play very important role. This time, we have planning in terms of investment in South Africa. First of all, I can tell that is we have started to make an investigation in terms of mining resources in South Africa, such as gold and copper. Secondly, we will also have a planning to make an investment in terms of e-commerce business in South Africa next year.
Let's focus on the mining sector. As you might know, of course, a lot of negative publicity South Africa has been receiving around the strike action, and the mining sector we know is one of uncertainty and volatility when it comes to labour here in the country. Does that not scare the company investing in a sector which is volatile and uncertain?
那目前来看呢，回到这个矿产的这个部分，目前都知道这个南非呢现在有一个很严重的这个矿产危机的这个罢工。目前呢这个罢工呢因为这个矿工呢需要这个得到更高的待遇。关于这个问题，您有什么样的看法？
我们自个想上这来投资求发展，第一个我们想走两个途径，第一个自己单独经营。 和开采权和开矿和冶炼，第三个呢，同时呢，我们也可以合作，在这方面呢，深入的我们寻找一些个战略合作伙伴，但是呢，也要求我们想啊，就是按照当地国的法律合约合规去运作。
In South Africa, we have planning in terms of investment of mining resources. as follows. The first one is we plan to find some 100% shareholders for these mining companies in South Africa. The second one, that is, we also can find the possibilities to become the partnership with the local companies in terms of mining resources development. On the basis of the two sides, most importantly, that is, all the things must be based on the compliance with the local legal environment for South Africa.
And you talk about e-commerce as well. You know, an area that is quite underdeveloped in South Africa. Still opportunities for growth. We know that technology is one of the hindering factors right now because really internet access is slow and some people don't have access to internet. But that being said, TNS Group has a lot of experience in this space. Tell us about the plans when it comes to e-commerce in South Africa, and does that extend to, you know, outside of South Africa to Africa?
关于这个电子商务的部分，我们也想问一下，就是目前来看，在南非来说，很多人并没有机会接触到这个电子商务，而且南非的电子商务并不是很发达。那谈谈您这个电子商务的计划是只是针对南非一国呢，还是包括南非以外的其他的非洲国家？
我们在非洲这个电子商务，所以在这方面，在南非是一个典型的第一个。我们想在这儿南非，在这方面，第二一个呢，在这方面就是在摩洛哥、埃及在进行。从这样安排布局呢，整个的吸引整个的非洲，关键我们3次发展、3次创业、再次腾飞呢，我们真正的改革创新了，真正的把电子商务。叫家庭消费创富，经营家庭消费更创富的，保增长、渡难关、上经济水平、提升生活质量、保就业、保创业、保投资回报、安全、保发展。
For the e-commerce development planning of our TNS Group, we choose South Africa as the first country. In the whole Africa region, and the second group for the countries will including Morocco and Egypt. And through this we need to make more and more our TNS customers can enjoy the benefit from the development of e-commerce system. We want to reach the purpose that is consumption can generate wealth, consumption plus operation can generate more and more wealth. And we also want to reach the final purpose that is the final guarantee of the personal development, the final guarantee of the personal employment in South Africa and the Africa continent as a whole.
So as you say, you know, starting out in South Africa and starting out in the north of Africa with Morocco and Egypt. So I suppose it all comes down to money at the end of the day. Is there a number in terms of the initial investment that the TNS Group is looking to invest in South Africa firstly?
那就是刚才您说的这个第一个选择的是在南非这个电子商务，那其他的是在北非。那么首先来说呢，在南非呢，您是这样首先来说初步来做哪些投资的设想？
刚才我讲的就是一个做矿的投资，甚至在非洲其他国家。第二呢，在这方面就是电子商务。第三个，完全就是想在南非建立一个商业大楼，一个是办公大楼。作为非洲的总部。
Just now I have mentioned that initially we have a planning to make an investment in terms of mining resources in South Africa. Secondly, we also want to make some investment in terms of e-commerce project in South Africa. The thirdly, that is we TNS Group want to build a new business buildings in Johannesburg of South Africa.
Okay, but no kind of sum that you can give us, you know, total amount in monetary terms, that is.
那您能不能给我一个整个的，就是未来您的计划投资的这种金额？
我们矿业计划在非洲呢，整体要投几亿美金，700亿美金在这方面。第二呢，在这方面呢，可以说是咱办公楼得要接近几千万美金，在这方面的投资。电子商务可能更多一些个，在这方面，因为配置的一些物流商品可能更多一些个，在这方面。
First of all, I just want to tell you that not just for the Africa, for the whole, not just for the South Africa, for the whole Africa region, regarding to the mining resources development, we have a plan to make an investment of several $100 million. The secondly, regarding to the e-commerce, project, we have a planning to make an investment of tens of millions of $US in the whole Africa region. Regarding to the office building and the e-commerce, we have a investment planning that is perhaps we can invest more amount of $US in terms of this investment projects.
同时，电子商务我们还在尼日利亚和加纳，也要在今年和到今年年底到明年年初正式的落地。
At the same time, regarding to the e-commerce project, we also have planning to make some investment and make a launching in such countries like Nigeria and Ghana.
因为我们是在发达国家，在30个国家都在12月26号在运营，在这就叫正向发展，反向吸引的，就是发展中国家在全球60多个国家都在运营。 在吸引这些国家的发展。
Because at the same time we have picked up 30 developed countries, which will launching our new marketing plan by the end of this year. We want to reach the final purpose, that is make a development from the forward direction and make attractions from the reverse directions at the same time.
Another important question, just before we end off here, is there is a lot of concern right now about the slowdown in the Chinese economy. We saw some manufacturing data coming out today, which looks a little bit better than it has been looking for some time. Perhaps Mr. Lee can fill us in terms of how is the Chinese economy doing right now, and should we be concerned about a substantial slowdown in the economy?
那这我们也有考虑到现在中国的这个经济，很多人都在讲那个中国的经济现在正在处于下滑的这种状态。那从那个李总来看，目前的中国经济是不是属于下滑，或者您怎么看中国目前的这个经济形势？
中国的经济在18大后，可以说是在中国的经济在18大后，有慢慢的复苏。在这方面呢，可以说中部的沿海地区的发展，现在中央 加大力度在西部的投资和整个的拉动经济，可以说中国的经济发展是大有发展前途，非常乐观的。在这方面，我看中国的经济。
Actually, I don't think so. I'm still very optimistic for the Chinese economic development. I can tell you after the 18th Chinese National Congress, China's economy will have a considerable growth, especially in the western part of China.
中国政府在这方面宏观调控，把整个的东部和西部的经济的拉动，在这方面从产业结构正在调整，现在调整的正在发展经济上扬，非常看好。
Chinese government has attached more importance to the development, to the economic development for the whole China. No matter the eastern part or western part, the whole Chinese government makes some infrastructure adjustment currently. As a result, we can get a better results.
因为现在的经济达到7%多的增长，7%的，明年可能突破8%是没问题的。
China's economy now can maintain the 7% increase, but I can make a prediction that is by next year China's economic growth can reach by 8%. There should be no problem.
Well, there we go. On that note, we'll leave it there. Thank you both so much for coming in today. Mr. Lee, of course, chairman of the Tian's Group, Li Jianhuan, and of course, Kevin Hu joining us as a translator. On that note, of course, we know that, I said, Chinese manufacturing numbers coming out today above the 50 mark for first time for some months now. And of course, a signal that for some economists are saying the economy is bottoming out. And there we heard it, a lot more optimistic around growth going forward, specifically in the western part of China.